Karen Gans at the Department of Early Learning. I'm glad that you're here for our November Coach webinar. In the room with me, I have Sue Rose, who is a pre-K specialist, Kelly DeBoer, and Leah Capelli. And then on the phone, we have Soleil Boyd, who is going to be talking about Coaching Companion in just a little bit. All right, so today we're going to be answering a couple ERS coaching questions that came in during since the last time we had a coach webinar, and then we're going to be sharing with you some of the tips that we heard from coaches around the state, and actually we're going to be hearing from some coaches who shared some ideas in the survey response around the best things they've found to increase class and ERS data collection readiness. And so we're really excited to have them sharing as well. Soleil is going to be sharing about Coaching Companion, like I said before, and then we'll be sharing some upcoming training opportunities and some resources that are available or soon to be available to you. So I'll just go right into the questions that were asked about ERS. We had a coach who emailed about what props and accessories can be added to the block area. And the coach that asked this question, that program actually sent someone from their program, another coach from their program, to North Carolina, where they were trained by the developers of the ERS, and this coach asked that question at the training, and they got a really concrete answer that we wanted to share with all of you. So what they found out is that the only things off of the props and accessory list in the Creative Curriculum Volume 2 on page 245 that can be added to the block area are traffic signs and gas pumps, books, magazines, or postcards with pictures of buildings, roads, and bridges, although these need to be limited, a map of the city or old blueprints. What the coach found out at the ERS training is that everything else would be considered a distraction to block play. So things like tape, papers, pulleys, and string. What Eckers really is wanting is that the accessories would add to rather than detract from block play. So accessories should not be of the type of play such as woodworking benches with tools, writing toys, shopping carts, large stuffed animals, or toy buildings. So that's the information that this coach got. Really grateful that this program shared that information, and we're just relaying the information back out to all of you so that you can think about how you can support classroom teachers and their block play or their block area. And it looks like we have a question. So someone asked, what about people and animals in the block area? And the answer wasn't specified. That answer was not specified in the response. My guess is that, so it says traffic signs and gas pumps, and so you'll have to use your best judgment. You don't really want my guess in this. You really want to use your best judgment about that.
Yeah. And maybe, and I don't know what's already in the All About book.
Yeah.
Molly made a statement here that says in the All About, people and animals are okay to have.
Awesome, Molly. Thanks for sharing that. So you can. Although it is clear that you want it to add to the block play rather than distract. I think that's the key. That's the key point here. So then the coaches from the same program told me that they were getting questions from classroom teachers about what do they do about the books that are listed in the creative curriculum and not allowed in ERS. And we just want to acknowledge that that is an issue, and that it's going to be important to look at the books and to remember that the books from creative curriculum are suggested, not required. So you're going to want to be able to have the classroom team look through the books and really make sure that they're aligning with the ERS as they prepare for their data collection. And it looks like we have, no, we don't have another question. Great. So those were the two pieces of information that we found out that we wanted to share with all of you. And then now we're going to go to the tips, the things that we've heard, and we're going to start with class. And I just want to, first of all, I'm going to back up for just a second here and say I just want to thank everyone who has responded to the survey. We got a lot of really great ideas from coaches that we're excited to have some of those coaches share or to share on behalf of those coaches. We heard from 38 people, and I'll talk more about how you can respond to the survey if you've not done so yet. We really want to hear from you and get information, so here's my first plug, my first shameless plug to complete the survey. If you have not, there will be more of these plugs in the webinar. So we identified some trends and ideas that coaches told us really made a difference in supporting classroom teachers. And the first idea that was a majority of coaches said really made a difference in preparation for class was the use of video and videotaping and feedback. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about one of the ideas that a coach shared around this. And that coach couldn't be here today. She's in training outside of the state. But this is from Lori Severson, and she said that when she's working with teachers, they've already had their ECHRS and their class. They've already had one observation completed where it's been determined if they're in the low, middle, or high range, and then Lori, as the coach, will meet with the teacher and then develop the goals and talk with them about plans. So teachers struggling, so she gave the example of a teacher who was really struggling with circle time. And she had children who were not engaged in circles. She had children who weren't coming to circle. And so what they did was, based on the observation information and then her struggles with what was happening in circle, they developed a plan, and then the teacher spent 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, really working to implement the plan and make changes, and then Lori would come back and she would videotape the teacher during that specific circle time. And then what they did was they watched it together, and what Lori would do is she would have the teacher identify what they saw as working and what they saw as needing to still be changed or developed. And then the coach would also share what she saw, and then they would continue to develop and add more depth to the plan that they had, and then they would build from there. And she said that it was really effective to make sure that the teacher had time to be able to share what they thought as well. So because so many people told us that the use of videotaping and video feedback made such a difference, we've asked Soleil Boyd from the University of Washington to come and share more about the Coaching Companion platform. For those who don't know, the Coaching Companion platform is a platform where teachers and coaches can upload video and then provide feedback and have conversation back and forth to each other. Thanks so much, Soleil, for being here with us today. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Karen. Great.
As soon as my screen is ready, you'll start seeing what I would like to talk about. A moment.
Hang on 1 second, Soleil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Soleil, you should have control in just 1 second here. Handed it over.
Thank you. Yes, great. Thank you so much. And let me go look here. Okay, and of course, my screen is, here we go. Okay, using the Coaching Companion. So I actually want to scroll up here. So some of you know what the Coaching Companion is, and just by way of introduction, I want to review a little bit, and then we can just take a look at it. And let me know, somebody, an organizer at Dell chat, or just call out to me if we're not seeing this, but hopefully we are. And okay, I think that should be good. So what is the SQL Coaching Companion? Just so you all know, it is a web-based application designed to support early achievers' coaching efforts. And what this really should be doing is enabling coaches and teachers or providers to share focused observation evidence, so that's the video that we're talking about, and also engage in reflection and feedback, as well as share some resources related to coaching. And let's see if we can go to the next slide. Thank you all for your patience as I work through the technical difficulties. It also contains specific resources for coaches themselves. So we will look at that in a little bit, but there are some coach-specific resources such as the SQL Coach Training Calendar that coaches can directly access through the Coaching Companion. So some features, like I said, you can conduct focused observations with video or pictures or documents. You can conduct reflection and feedback on any document, video, or picture that you have uploaded. You can also create groups of teachers so that a small group of teachers potentially working on similar goals or action plans could engage in reflective practice together around a video. There is a resource library, like I mentioned, always being expanded. There are learning activities. We'll take a look at those. And then, like I said, the coach training calendar. So let's walk through this. And the first thing is, let's take a look at how to log in just briefly if you have not done that. So we should have flipped over now to a web page. This is a live web page. And again, I will invite my partners at Dell to holler if something is not looking right. But so you should be looking at right here, a login page. And you see at the top where my mouse is moving, Washington Early Achievers. That's what you would like to click on, or you should click on to create your account. And so when you click on that, you will need to enter your Merit ID and then your Merit password. And remember me so that it will in the future, and click log in. And when you do that, that will take you to the Coaching Companion front page. If you are entered in Merit as a coach, you will have a coach view. And so what we're looking at right now, you have 4 sort of tabs here that you can opt into. First is View a Sample Focused Observation. Second is Coach Discussion Board. Third is SQL Training Calendar. Fourth is Herring Center Coaching Library. Now, if you're a coach, you will see all of these. If you are not a coach, all you will see is View a Sample Focused Observation. So teachers don't have access to these other 3. So if you get in here and you're not seeing these other 3, that means your Merit ID says you are a teacher. And all you need to do, actually, to change this, you don't even have to go through Merit, although you may want to check and make sure that's updated. But you just come down to the bottom of the screen that says Contact Us. It's going to pop up to SQLCC@uw.edu email, and you can just email our technical assistance person, Craig Corbin, at this email, and he will just change your account type so that you're a coach, and then you can see all those features that are available to coaches. Okay, so that's just getting into the system. Once you are here, something that will be important for you to do as a coach is to go to your notifications. And here is where you can do something important, which is to create a group. So this is sort of that next step. You're seeing a lot of different groups for me because I have all these sort of test accounts. But the main thing you should see, and I'm hovering over it here, is welcome to the SQL Coach Companion. Click here to edit your default group. What this says, I'm going to click on it now. It will provide you with this tile right here. And what you need to do when you see this tile is click on the pencil or the edit icon. And what that's going to do is help you set up an account. So you need to indicate what region you're in. All the early achievers regions are there. And so select one. I'm selecting King County. That's where I live. And then when you're in a specific region, you can select all the teachers who have already created an account. Something important to know about the Coaching Companion is, I keep saying this, it's kind of like Facebook. If someone's not in there, you can't be their friend. So the person that you want to coach through this also has to have created their own account. So teachers need to create accounts, and they do that just the way that you do, which is by going to Coaching Companion or SQLcoach.org. And they follow all these same steps. So they just need to get in with their Merit ID, and then once they do that, they're going to be in here. But they do have to enter the Coaching Companion. So once your teachers have entered the Coaching Companion, they're going to show up in this box here, teachers/providers in that early achievers region. And you're just going to select one. And so let's say I'm selecting, I selected Julie. And she's going to then come down here and be in this box of people that I say, that's somebody in my group. So Julie is in my group. And you could add all the people you're working with, you should add to your group. And that just creates sort of what you would maybe think of as a caseload. These are all the people you're working with. You hit update. So I only have one person here. You may have 3 or 15, depending on how many teachers you're working with, who have also started with the Coaching Companion. And then what you can do further from that is create some subgroups. So here I hit, let me go back and slow it down a little bit. Create a new group. I'm going to hit that button. And here's my opportunity to take all the teachers that I'm working with. And let's say I have, well, in this case, just one, but maybe I have 2 teachers who are at a specific school or maybe in a certain classroom. I'm just going to pull them in here, drag and drop. And then I'm going to name this group, and maybe I'll call it Preschool Classroom 2, right? So I want the teachers in that room in a group so that I can work with them together. This would be a little easier to demonstrate if I had more than one teacher in my overall group, but I hope you get the idea. So that's one way to organize people. Now let's get to probably what's more immediate and interesting, which is once you've done that, how can you create a focused observation? So we're going to come back to this main page. Actually, you don't have to do that. You could just go straight to focused observation up here. Click on that. And here you can see I've created a number of focused observations as examples. And so when you want to create a focused observation, just come to this area. And I'm checking on the chat box just in case there are questions. I really hope somebody will interrupt me if I'm going too fast. Anyway,
Hey, Soleil, this is Karen, and I'll interrupt you. We have a couple questions.
Great, good.
So the first one is from Joan, and Joan is wondering, letting us know that in ECAP, some coordinator staff are involved in coaching sites and pre-rating, and she's wondering if they could possibly sign into the Coaching Companion too.
Yes, so they can. If they have a Merit ID, that's the best way. But if they don't, and if they have a Merit ID, all they need to do is what I showed. which is go to that login page and enter their ID and password. Now, if they don't have a Merit ID, they can still go to that login page. Let me go just back to it. And here again at the bottom, if you can see it, is this contact us. This is not going to take me back to my login. Let me log out here. Here we go. So when they come to this, they are going to get to this page when they go to SQLcoach.org. And if they don't have a Merit ID, all they need to do is come down and hit Contact Us yet again. And that's just going to provide them with the email to contact our technical assistance person, Craig. So they can just let him know and say, hey, I'm a director, or I am in this specific role, and I'm coaching ECAP sites, and he will then put them into the coaching role. So they just need to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes, that absolutely makes sense. Thank you, Soleil, for sharing that. And then it looks like Chrissy is asking if there is a tip sheet to give teachers that goes through the steps that coaches could give them to help guide them through the process of signing up for Coaching Companion.
Yes, there is. Great question. So here we have user guides. So if you are seeing my screen, let me go to my main screen. That's interesting. Not that one. Let's come over here. Coaching Companion, here I'm at the main screen, and I'm over here at user guides. So you can click this, and this has a handout that you can download and print. And let me know if you don't see this. Hopefully you do. But to create an account, go to SQL Coaching Companion. So this gives you the step-by-step guide for doing that. And it says, so step 1, create an account, enter your Merit ID. Step 2, step 3, retrieving your Merit information. Now that you've created an account, your coach will add you to their group. So that's sort of that in-between place where you guys have to find each other in the Coaching Companion. So just let them know that you're going to have to you as a coach will have to find them, and then you can, be in a group together. On the groups page, locate under resources and additional assets, click the orange box to join your coach's group. And then you can now interact with your coach on the Coaching Companion. So you can print this off, or you can email it to teachers, whatever you want to do. So that should hopefully help them navigate into the system.
Thanks, Soleil. Are we good?
So, any other questions? What are the other questions?
We'll just have you go on, and we'll take a break in another minute for any other questions that come in.
Great. Okay. Those are great questions. We'll come back to resources once we kind of get through the other features. So hopefully I answer more questions as I go. So once you have created your account and you have found a teacher or more than one to be working with, you can start creating focused observations. So one thing is that you're going to, I'll just say focus on this, focused observation. So this is essentially you set a goal, just like you were talking about earlier. The teacher was really interested in improving circle time, especially along the line of class domains and dimensions, I'm guessing. So what you could do in that situation is come here to focus observation. Oh dear, this keeps sending me back to the beginning. Fortunately, I think I can handle that. No, I can't. Here we go. So I'm having to log back in now. So please give me a moment. Here we go. Okay, focus observation. Click on that. You see I have created some. You can create new ones, as many as you want. I'm going to do one right here so we can look at it. So you're going to be automatically listed as the coach for the focused observation. And you could then, let me back it up, in addition to the coach who is participating, and that's just going to be a drop-down you can click on, and it's going to list all your teachers. You only see one for me, but if you have multiple teachers, you will see all of them. I'm going to click my one teacher. Now, a different option is if you already have created some subsets or some groups, so by group, so remember I just made preschool classroom 1, or excuse me, 2, that group. I could just click on that, and they would be added. I think it's not allowing me to do that because Julie is the only person in preschool classroom 2. But if you were to click on a group, it would put all the people in. So we continue. The name of the focus observation, so this could be just brief, and I'm going to call this predicting and planning during activities because I'm working with Julie, and she really wants to focus on some concept development ideas in the class that I believe the 8th domain of the class, and so prediction is part of that. And then I'm going to click on the date. So you just click the date that you created, and then notes. So here I might say, Julie is working on improving her practices related to prediction during small groups. So this is maybe kind of contains essentially the goal or the action plan. You can put as much detail in it as you want. What this does is just help everyone remember the purpose of this observation. And so right now this is sort of just like a label essentially for the focus observation. So I hit create. And then what you can do is it's going to say you've created a focus observation and now add some evidence. And that's going to prompt me to add some evidence. I'm going to hit browse and go to my videos because Julie and I have recorded a video and about this very topic called Observing and Predicting with Ramps, and I'm going to add that to this observation. And so I'll say this is the video, and you can add whatever information. So just so you know, the more information you provide here, probably the more that's going to help teachers remember what was going on when they come to this observation themselves. And then I affirm that I have the necessary licenses, rights, and et cetera. You need to click this, and it also needs to be true. So be sure that before filming any children, and I'm positive everyone does this and knows this, that all the proper consents are in place. Once all the consents are in place and you have the video, you can upload it. So I'm going to click upload. This can take a while. So, and by a while, I mean maybe up to 5 minutes. So you may just have to be a little bit patient and plan for that time. So instead of us being patient and planning for that time, though, we're going to go to the one I already made that is this exact same thing. And here it is, predicting and planning during activities. Excuse me, here's the one I already made, predicting and planning. And so once your video has uploaded, you're going to see a tile here, and then you can go back to it. You just click right on it. And now you can see all the information that you added, and you can see the videos here. Now you get to observe with your teacher, just like we heard before. And here is the video. And what I can do now as a coach is say, hi, Julie. Let's observe and focus on all the opportunities for children to predict. How do you see them engaging in this? So here's your opportunity as the coach to provide some reflective prompts, or what you could do is watch the video as well and provide some feedback. So I noticed, and so on. So that's what you can do. Another thing that to know is to include the current video playback with your comments. So if you click that, and let's say we watch this video. Do you want to be the... Now it's going to have problems streaming because we're all looking at it. But typically it should just play pretty easily. And because I clicked this box here, I can add a comment that's going to be time-stamped. So I right now added this comment, and it said it's at 8 seconds because I added it at a certain point. So I could say something like, right here you are. If I really want to focus in on a specific strategy or move the teacher made that I really would like to highlight. Another thing about video feedback and observation is it's typically most effective when we focus on the effective strategy the teacher is doing more than the ineffective strategy. So that would, I think, many of us operate with that strengths-based approach as well. So we definitely want to make this a strengths-based activity. Anyhow, so this is how you can upload and interact with the video, and then Julie can write back. So because she's a participant, she's going to see everything I write here, and then she can come in and respond to some of the prompts that I have provided. So this is sort of the basic and probably the most important feature of the Coaching Companion is right here, and what we really hope people can utilize and get as much out of as possible. I'm going to pause in case there are questions about anything I just did.
Hey Soleil, this is Karen. There are some questions.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions, there actually are a couple of coaches who talked about whether or not this was required or if this is currently a resource that we anticipate will be a required tool in the next few years. And what I can say is that this is an optional support that is available to coaches that we are wanting to highlight because so many coaches told us how effective video feedback is, and we just think it's a great tool that we want you to have a little more information about so that you can access it if you would want to access it. It is a time saver for people who have to travel, and it is a way for you to be able to have feedback with a teacher more consistently, potentially, than just in-person visits. However, I will say this is not intended to take the place of in-person, face-to-face visits with teachers. Okay,
Thank you, yeah.
And then Soleil, there's another question. This is from Esna, and she's saying that she has subcontracted preschool classrooms, ECAP classrooms that have a CCA coach, and she's suspecting that coach already has this set up, and she's wondering if she can access the focused observations and become part of the group with the coach and the teacher.
Yes, she can. So she could be incorporated into that group by the coach. Now, if she is listed as a coach in the Coaching Companion, that would be hard to do. But if she's listed as a teacher, the coach would simply add her to that group, just like any other teacher in their region. However, if they want to be in the same group, again, you can click on that Contact Us and just email the administrator, Craig, and he can make those arrangements if you want to move around a little bit. So, I think that would be fine. And I think that would be great. One thing is we want everyone to know who's seeing what, because this is everyone's practice. This is not, there shouldn't be anything, sneaky about this. So everyone's going to know, and we just want everyone clear with that. So the teachers will know, and we think that's good. There's a lot of transparency. So you can just ask, hit the Contact Us. It'll show you, again, this email address, and you can just email the admin, who is Craig, and say, hey, I'm a coach in this site with this other coach, and I'd like to be added to their group.
Thanks for that, Soleil. So we have another question. This one's from Deborah, and she's wondering if you can use an iPad, if you can use iPad videos with this platform.
Oh, I assume, I know you can film straight from your iPad. I'm just not sure about which app specifically, so let me write that down, and I can send really concrete information after the webinar. But I do know that you can film directly from your iPad or your cell phone, and it will be, saved on your device, and then you can upload directly from your device to the Coaching Companion. So it's very mobile friendly. So I am betting that the iPad video app that you have is going to work. But I don't know for absolute certain if the specific one will, but I think it will. And please try it, and if it doesn't, actually just, again, go to Contact Us and let Craig know, because then we can start building out that feature if for some reason we can't pull it. But this does take video from a variety of video apps and platforms, and directly from your device. So.
Okay, thanks,
Yes.
Soleil. There's another question from a coach wondering if you can pause the video, will it still timestamp? So they're just wanting a clarification, I think.
Yeah. So let's have
Okay.
a look here. And the short of the answer is yes. And so here we go. We'll just watch the video.
Do you want to be the recorder or the jar filler?
And I like that moment because she just said, do you want to be, and providing choices. That's a nice part of regard for student perspectives in the class. So way to address choice. In this moment, okay, and I paused it, I added my comment, and here it says at 04, that's what I'm talking about. So yes, you can pause it and add your comment. You don't have to do it as the video goes.
Okay, thanks for that. So, and then Julie's asking about the one-pager again, and some other clarifications. And what I want to say, Julie, is that we're going to post the one-pager on the Dell website in our coaching resources, and we're also going to just edit this webinar so that it will just be how to get on the Coaching Companion video, and we'll post that on the website as well.
Great. Are there any other questions at this point?
Yeah, it looks like there's a couple more. So the first one is, this is I think an idea around coaches in like a similar regional area. April's saying that Craig created a coach group for it looks like the Spokane area, so that they could share resources and ideas and tips together. So that's an idea for people to use and think about setting up. And then Shayna's saying that in her notifications it's telling her to pick her coach, but she is the coach of the site, and she's wondering if there's something she needs to do differently. Is that something?
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
So I think what that means is, because we draw all our data from Merit, that's how these roles are assigned. And this is like an extension of the single sign-in system. Anyway, so we only have your Merit information as to what type of role you are, and in Merit it probably says you're a teacher. All you need to do is go to Contact Us and email cc@uw.edu and simply say, I'm listed as a teacher in the Coaching Companion, but I'm actually a coach. Can you please change my role? And then Craig will change that.
Okay, that's great for now, Soleil. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So we talked about signing in, setting up your group, conducting a focused observation, providing reflection and feedback. And now I would like to, and I'll just point out here that you can create as much reflection as many focused observations as you want for as many teachers as you like, and they're all going to be here. So you just scroll down and they'll all be here visible to you. So let's talk about resources. We came to this before. The primary thing, so there are many choices here. Your resources, shared, observation evidence, SQL resources. I'm going to highlight a few key things. One is SQL resources. So these are resources that we at SQL have either identified or created to help address specific standard areas. As you can see, our library is not complete, but there are a lot of resources and engaging interactions and environments, and a variety of other areas. And also, you can see here there's a media permission form. This is just a resource for you to use if you want to. I know many sites create their own. I am not totally clear if ECAP has a specific form that is preferred or used, and if that is the case, please use that. But if you do not have a form and you need one, so you can be sure that everyone is parental permission has been given, or you can come here and download it in English or Spanish. So, and what it'll do is it'll give you a little preview. and then you can just go to click to download it, print it off, and there you go. So I just want to be sure people are aware of that specific resource because it might be important. Otherwise, there are many other kind of optional resources. So under engaging interactions and environments, this is really, if you think about the Early Achievers House, that's that foundation. This is all about class and ERS. So we can look through here to find a variety of resources on class and ERS. For example, we might go to that well-organized category. And here, everything is available in English and Spanish. So you do kind of have to look through it. It's this tiling system, which we love because it's really mobile friendly. However, it's a lot of stuff to go through. So I do invite you to spend a little time familiarizing yourself. But for example, there's a handout on behavioral expectations and a little description. This handout goes with the Maximizing Learning Time Institute training session and provides tips on how to state behavioral expectations. You click on it, you can review it, and if you think this is helpful, you can print it, or you can copy to your resource, so you can download it and print it off, or email it to someone, or within the Coaching Companion, you could click copy to your resources. And now this is a resource that you've essentially checked out. You're like, I like this, I want to use it. And once you've copied it to your resources, you can click on this little icon here. This is the share icon. And you could say, I want to share this with certain people. And I'm going to share with Julie because she's my teacher. And so I have now shared the specific handout with Julie. And I click save, and there we are. Now she has it. So when she goes to her Coaching Companion page, she's going to see that I sent her that resource. So that's just a little bit about the SQL resources. Something that you have as a coach is access to Early Achievers coaching resources. So teachers are not going to see that. And here we have webinars and Coaching Companion Quick Start videos. And so here you can see webinars, all the webinars we've done. And we are going to update these with the specific names. But you can come to past webinars if you know, oh, in September, I really loved it when they talked about culture and language modeling. And you just click on that, and you can see all the things related to that webinar. So just so you know, that's there. Other resources. Something else you can do as a coach. So I'm going to come back and slow that down a little bit. Learning activities. So something you can do as a coach is essentially create a learning activity for teachers that maybe doesn't require them to upload video yet. Sometimes people are very nervous to do that. What you can do is you can find some video that you like, and maybe it's just a nice exemplar. So you're here in learning activities, and you can create a learning activity. I'm the coach who's participating, Julie, of course. Name, let's learn about back and forth exchanges. That's an important thing with quality of feedback. The ninth dimension in the class. So I want to create this learning activity. I'm creating it today. And what I can do here is decide how teachers can respond to it. So if I want an open conversation, that means every teacher in this group can just watch the video, reply however they want. Or I could say, you know what, I really want them to come up with their own ideas first. I'm going to require them to comment before they can see what other people say. Or you can have them do individualized. So you are sending this video out to maybe 3 teachers, but you don't want them to see each other's comments. You just want them to reply, sort of like an assignment, you might even think of it. I'm going to create this. So please watch this video. Create, and then this is very similar to a focused observation, except the purpose is a specific learning target you have with some teachers. So I've added my video here. I have the rights and permissions. I'm going to upload it. And upload. So that will take a little bit of time. I just want to point that out as a feature so that you can start engaging teachers in this process. And if you have really specific targets for them, this is a nice activity sort of to do some teaching if that's something you would like to do. So that's a resource. This is almost done uploading. Maybe this will work. That will be so wonderful. Great. So, and I'm going to hit update. And now here's my learning activity. And so now we can go to the learning activity. Pardon me. And here, so it's still being processed, so we can't watch this video. But essentially, here's where teachers would then engage in this learning activity. Very similar to focused observation, except that there are a few more controls given to you as the coach if you want to target a specific topic. Okay. Other resources are the coach discussion board. So here's something for you as a coach. Oh, this is so interesting. So this is the live discussion board. And coaches just put up ideas here and get feedback. So these are all real. And sometimes people respond and sometimes they don't. So you can kind of gauge what the interest might be. But for example, here's a discussion that a coach started. Periodic review and use of child assessment data for continuous program improvement. So this is the topic. And this coach is interested in how people have worked with, in particular, providers to get the quality child outcomes point about assessment. This may or may not apply for ECAP because if you're in a ECAP pathway program, that may not be an issue for you. However, the point of this area is to just put up anything that you're interested in, see what other coaches are interested in, a great place to share ideas or ask questions of other coaches. So that's an open forum. Everybody can see everything that's been put there among coaches. So just be aware of that, but it is a good tool if you want to discuss with others. And then we have other user guides, quick start videos, and FAQ here. So if you want to, again, for teachers or for your own, to refresh your own memory, here's video. So you can watch video of how to create accounts. These videos are subtitled in Spanish, so if you want to help Spanish-speaking or bilingual programs, you could use that feature. There's also an FAQ about what is the coaching companion, so on and so forth. If you want to share this with parents or among staff anyway to build awareness, that's a resource for you. So those are sort of the resources and additional assets at this point. I'm going to pause now to see what questions may have come up.
I actually think that we're doing pretty good. The questions that came up, you ended up answering in your presentation. Way to go.
Okay. Cool. Thumbs up. So really, at this point, that is the overview of the coaching companion. And I'm happy to address any further questions, but I think I have introduced it quite a bit. Any other information you guys think I should share?
I think that you did a great job. Thank you so much, Soleil. We do have a question that's coming in right now. Yeah.
The question is from Nancy, and she's asking, how do teachers know when you have posted a learning activity or other communication? Do they need to check Coaching Companion regularly, or do we need to email them?
Great question. So something you can do, or you and a teacher can do, first thing is to go to settings, and here you can receive email notifications. So that will just send an email. You can opt out of it if you don't want that, but if you do want that, you can opt into it right here. So that's something to make sure teachers have done if you want to just make sure, for sure it'll be sent to their email. The other thing is that when they come to the Coaching Companion, let's say they didn't check that, or they unchecked it, and that's fine. The other thing, though, is that even if they don't receive an email, when they just come to the Coaching Companion, here's this Notifications tab up here, and it will have a little star by it if there's a new notification. And you can always just go there anyway. So here are all the notifications, right? Somebody joined my group. I updated a focused observation, and so on. So they are going to see all of the activity you may have done here that involves them. Okay, does that answer that one?
Yes, I think that was great. Thank you, Soleil. There is one more question.
So Julie is asking if, Soleil, if you can give us an idea of how many coaches are using this tool currently with providers.
Yeah, the count we got, I mean, a day or two ago was 76 coaches, and I think 120 or 150 teachers or providers. So there's a good number of coaches and a good number of teachers and providers in the Coaching Companion at this point.
And I'll just add that I went in and looked at the ECAP grouping and the information we have on ECAP coaches, and it looks like we have 22 coaches, early achiever coaches who work with ECAP funded sites or classrooms that have signed up for the Coaching Companion so far.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I did have one more thing to add. Is that okay? Do I have 2 minutes?
Absolutely, Soleil. Go ahead.
Okay. So as a coach, again, I want to just highlight this front page that you have and some of the resources to you. There's the coach discussion board, which you can access from right here. I just showed you that discussion board. Also the SQL training calendar. If you just click on that, that's going to show you all the upcoming trainings. These are APROS trainings, class, toddler class, ITERs, stickers, everything on and this is current now through May. So I really encourage you, if you want to know where the next training is that might help you, please look here. I will point out these trainings, they really should, let's take a look at this actually. They should highlight a description and also who should attend. So I'm just highlighting this because we do want to make sure these sessions have space for coaches. If we start opening these up to teachers, they could be very crowded, and then we don't have the capacity for coaches. So I encourage you as a coach to attend these or link with other coaches, but encourage teachers rather than coming to these to attend institutes, which are also posted. So the Early Achievers Institute in Everett, for example, is listed right here, and that's open to teachers. So although registration is closed for that one, but we have institutes next year, and they should look out for those. So I just want to make people aware of this calendar. You can close it by just clicking the tab. And then also there's this awesome new resource from the Herring Center. So the Herring Center is part of the Herring Center houses the Experimental Education Unit at the University of Washington. They're really specialized in individualization for children on any spectrum of needs, learning and otherwise. Anyway, they've created a Herring Center library, and this has a bunch of wonderful resources really about supporting children with special needs or different learning needs. And you can just scroll through, and then you can click on a title and request it. And it has this great description and so on. And so you can request the title. Let me see over here. This is so new. I, in fact, don't even know how to request a title, but you sure can. So sorting by titles, there is a way. About register, login. Maybe we have to log in. I'm not totally sure. So, okay, I'll come back to this one. This is such a new resource. We seriously added it last week that I have not totally explored how to use it. I hope you all do, though. And I'm sure there's a really easy way to check out a book, and simply come here, and I'm sure we will figure it out very soon. But anyway, here are all the lists, and let's try that one more time. Well, I'm going to have to talk to them about that. But anyway, there's a great list here, and there is a way to check them out, and I will get you more information on that very soon.
Thanks for that, Soleil. So, you know what, you can just find that information out, and then we can share that on the next Coach Web. Yeah.
Excellent.
So we'll get that information. So, but I just want to ask one clarifying question. When they request the book, then do they get an electronic version of it sent to them?
No, they're going to get a hard copy sent in the mail, and they have, I believe a month to use it, maybe 2. I'm not totally clear on that, but a month or 2. And then, then they should return it. But they're also taking requests. So let's come back over here. I think maybe you have to register. That's probably why I can't. That's why I haven't registered yet. So you have to register here. Once you've done that, I think you can, start checking out. But in any case, you can also request titles. So if there are books that you think would really help your practice and you don't see them, you can make that request in the library as well. But they will get a hard copy.
Okay, thanks so much, Soleil. Really appreciate the information.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Let me know if there are any other questions.
No other questions at this point, and so I think you can bring the presentation back over to us.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Good luck, and I hope you try the Coaching Companion, and I hope it works for you. Now, here we go. Trying. Oh, dear. Give me one moment. I am trying to change this here. All right. All right, I'm changing presenter now.
Thanks, Soleil.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I'm going to have us go back. So before we go into the training part of the tips that we heard about from coaches around the state, we got a couple ERS questions. So I'm going to have Sue answer one of the questions and provide some information about that.
Yeah, great. Nancy had a question regarding the ERS. And the question is, in separating quiet and active areas, are there transitional areas such as manipulative, or is it black and white about whether a center is active or quiet? So for example, is it better to have manipulative between dramatic play and library? And so this question actually came up during one of our webinars that we had back in October that covered the environment rating scale. And there was, and Gans is going to take you where you can take a look at that webinar that we recorded. And we have it posted on the DEL website. And a delightful coach actually emailed me a photo with this very question, and it was answered by Deetta Simmons from the University of Washington. And so Karen is taking us to the Department of Early Learning, and off to the left, where it's in orange, it says providers and ECAP contractors. We click on that, and then we go down to more. And then about halfway down the page, you see Early Childhood Education and Assistance Program. That's ECAP. And when you click on that, you'll see a couple amazing things. You will see the coach orientation webinars are now posted, and Gans will talk about that in a second here. But right there under Environment Rating Scale, there's an ERS webinars, and there's one that talks about the quality standards and the environment rating scale. And there's actually, it's covered by Deetta Simmons. You can take a look at that for more information. And from what I recall on that, it's really important that the quiet area has a great divide between where the active area is.
Okay, and then there is another question from Alexis. Alexis is wondering if a coach has already been to a coach framework training, is it recommended to go to them again? So she's wondering if there's new information. And I would say that there is not new information, that the information that they have in the coach trainings, it's really the same. That coach orientation that provides is the same each time. I can hear someone on the phone. Not quite sure how. Are they?
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
See if someone's unmuted. No, everybody's muted.
Can you hold on one second?
Okay, there. I think we took care of that extra background noise. Thank you, everyone, for your patience with that. So that's the information around the coach framework training.
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, and then we have another question that's related to the ERS, Joan, that you sent in, and we're going to try and get some more information on that, and then we'll share that with all coaches. We'll send that out, your question out in an email, an answer to your question in an email. All right, so the next area that coaches identified around the state that really helped increase scores was training that was provided. And Lori Severson, again, talked about a 10-session professional learning community called Making the Most of Classroom Interactions. This is a resource that she found through Teachstone. So I'm going to go to the class website right now. So when you go to the class website, you'll see that there's this professional development puzzle piece. And if you open that, then it opens up to additional coach resources and, I guess it's resources and training opportunities. And she found this training on this website, and it's this one right here. And it's a 10-session training to become an MMCI instructor. She had to travel to out of state for this training, so I think that it's important to know that. This is also a costly training. She told me that it costs $4,000 to attend the training. So it's not inexpensive, but if this is something that your program could possibly plan for in the future, she said that it has been incredible, the difference that she's seen in the growth in teachers in just 2 sessions when she's used it with them, and that it has really boosted her confidence as a coach as well in knowing what she needs to do and where she needs to go with classroom teachers when she's coaching them. So that's a resource within the class resources, and then you'll see that there are other resources that they have as well. Go back to the presentation. Okay, so another area that coaches identified as really being helpful in increasing rating readiness is making sure that coaches are reliable. So Becky from Spokane said she spoke specifically to this, and she couldn't be on the call today, but she sent in some ideas that I'm going to share here, and then we're going to hear a little bit from Mary about an idea that she shared as well. So Becky sent in a feedback form that they used that included the ECAP standards, and she said that this form was really helpful for teachers to see the direct correlation between the ECAP standards and the class tool, and it really helped them have make some connections to the reliability of the class assessment. So in each box, she gave specific examples and how each of the dimensions was observed or when there was a missed opportunity. And she sent this in, and it looks like Sue has pulled it up for us.
And I want to also mention that you should have it listed as a handout in your webinar off to the right on your little dashboard.
So if you'd like to print this out for yourself, you can. So, for example, if a question could have been rephrased to an open-ended question, or if the child said something and no one responded, when the box is checked, she gives the teacher the specifics of what was considered missed, and then they talk about how it could be changed in the future. So based on the results of their class observations, they then structured their trainings for the following year, that year and the following year, to make sure that all the staff had an introduction to class training, and then were trained on instructional support specifically. Because what they found from their observations is that that was the area that was lowest in the scoring overall for the year. So, so thanks to Becky, who sent that in and shared that information. And now we're going to hear from Mary, who's going to talk about what she's done with teachers around cycle of the day and scoring patterns. So Mary, hold on just a second. We're going to unmute you. Okay, so Mary, we're not seeing your name, so if you could raise your hand, if you could just click the little button that says raise the hand if you're on the call. If you're not on the call, it's okay. But you'll see that Mary has a handout that she sent in, a sample of what she used, and what she did was she looked at the cycles of the day to see if there was a pattern related to the scores, and then she discussed those patterns that she identified with the teacher.
I'm going to go ahead and rotate this the slow way for you guys. And there you go. That's a little easier. So we're looking for a hand being raised.
But it looks like,
it looks like there's a hand raised. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. Hey, Amy Alexander.
Oh, I'm here.
Hi, are you raising your hand on behalf of Mary McBride?
No, Mary's here. I raised my hand. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi. Yeah.
Hi. Okay, I'm here.
excellent, Mary. Can you go ahead and share how you used this this tool?
Yes. In our early learning program, we have both Head Start and Excite. So we did kind of first think about some of the target scores that we wanted, even though in Early Achievers it's 3.5 and 2, we wanted to exceed that. So first we looked for a pattern of which parts where people were falling below our target. If you can see over the side that in emotional support, the overall was 5.6, but we looked for points in each cycle that people fell below our target scores, and then we looked for a pattern. So, for instance, in cycle 2, that seemed to be a low-scoring cycle that included whole group, and also overall cycle 4 during choice was a low-scoring cycle, and we coached specifically on the first on the whole group cycle to look at what was happening during whole group, and we also then we started for this particular teacher with just the whole group time and thought about what was happening during that time. that brought the scores down compared to what happened for the strengths that were shown in the routine, such as meals and snacks. So we did focus coaching around that, not only discussed it with the teacher, but developed a plan, an action plan about what they could work on, and came back and reobserved that cycle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thanks very much for sharing.
You're welcome.
That's great. It's a great resource. All right, so next we have, oops, we both were clicking there. Oh. Two people trying to click at the same time doesn't work. All right, so then next, coaches let us know that providing instructional support. So Karina let us, she really talked about what a difference she saw when there were open-ended prompts around the room for teachers to be able to see that would help them in their work with children in the classroom to increase scores as well. And then another theme area that was identified was modeling. And we have a couple of coaches who are going to talk about what they've learned, what they did around modeling. And so it's actually Mary is going to share again. Hey, Mary, you are now unmuted.
Okay. So our kind of practice of modeling is to, when we look for an area that a teacher feels like they want to improve and yet doesn't, has identified that they'd like to see it in action. So we might model a, a 10-minute time where you're asking open-ended questions, or you might model a group time or specific practices for behavior support. So it's usually something that is co-designed with the teacher so that they can see the specific practice we're asking or we're looking at together for improvement. One of the nice things to do during that modeling is to give them behaviors to look for so that they have a checklist, or they're looking for specific practices that we've talked about, and then we can sit down together and talk about what we saw in that model lesson. We've also sometimes done that on videotape, and that's a great way to get teachers more ready to be videotaped.
Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Welcome.
And then another coach who sent in a suggestion around modeling is Amy Marlowe. So Amy, you are now unmuted.
Okay.
Hello.
And I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So ours is basically about the same, but we are in a school district, so we have a few more opportunities with our preschool staff who are undertrained, underprepared. They're not teachers with degrees. So they come into my classroom, which I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I can model it that way for them. And then also we go out and we can co-teach a lesson and then give the gradual release of responsibility to that teacher. And then after the modeling is done, they can either re-video or I can go out and re-observe and then discuss how it is improved or what our next steps could be.
Great, thanks for that idea. Handy when your coach is also the kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So then other top tips were, again, using the Coaching Companion, which was part of why we highlighted it today. And then the other was really making sure that you had ECAP program administrators really understanding class so that they can support teachers. And April Westerman gave us that suggestion, and she's going to expand a little bit more on that. So April, we're going to unmute you here. And now you're ready. Hello, April.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, hi, thank you. I think what we really try to do in the Spokane area is when the Early Achievers Institutes come to our area is we try to get our program administrators to attend the class reliability training, and then we really support them around actually taking the reliability. And we have found, we've had several owner directors of programs do that and really take stock and value in the class after they've done that, because then they really realize what we're all expecting their teachers to do. And so they're actually in there doing observations on their teachers and helping do the follow-up after the coaches leave. And so it's just a really reciprocal, strong process, and it's been really successful. So, and then there's been other times when, like if the director owner can't, that they appoint a teacher that they can get out of the classroom part-time to be like the early achievers support person for the program, and they'll send that person to a class reliability training, and they'll be the one that the coach that we connect with and that the program will have on site at all times that's reliable in class.
That's great. Thanks for that information, April. It really speaks to how important it is to have everyone be on board and in partnership with each other as you're moving through this process.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to tips from the field in ERS. And so one of the themes with ECHRS and ERS is training as well. And April, you actually had a suggestion here as well around the importance of an introduction for a training on the ECHRS tool. So can you share a little bit about that as well?
Sure. So all of my new sites or new teachers that I get, I have actually created an intro to ECHRS. And it just really goes over the basics of ECHRS, how the tool is scored, why we're using ECHRS. It's not just for points. I think that it's really important when we're training teachers that it's not just to get points in early achievers. We need to talk to them about why we're using ECHRS and class and relate it to early achievers. I use the ECHRS. They have like a kit that you can buy that comes with a workbook and a DVD, and so I use pieces of those in the introductory training. I talk about the definitions, the main definitions in the training, like accessibility, substantial portion of the day, that kind of stuff. We look at videos and we score. I have them score different pieces of the ECHRS so they can really see how scoring happens and what it looks like. And I also have had them bring in like pictures of their classrooms, or have them take a video with an iPad and bring it in, and then they can score. So like if we are all scoring, if dramatic play is something that we're going to score in the class, then I'll have them take pictures of the dramatic play or a video and bring it in, and they can actually score their own environment instead of using the DVD that I have, and that's been really successful. So, and at the end of the training, they set a goal of like one area they want to start with and work on, and then they start working on that area with their coach.
Thanks so much for that, April. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to send me any of those resources that you've developed so that I could then potentially share those with other coaches.
Yes, I have the training all in like a nice package, so I can send that to you.
Right, I can't wait to get that package. All right, so we'll make sure that we share that with others out in the field as well. Thanks for your generosity, April. Okay, so and then we had another coach who had another suggestion around training. This is Molly, and Molly, you are now not muted. Hi, Molly.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
So my suggestion was the Daily Early Achievers Tidbit. And what we do is just every morning we send out a little tidbit that has to do with early achievers to just remind teachers of different things they need to be remembering and doing in their classrooms. And it seems to be good because it's not so overwhelming. They can look at it when they want to, once a week, every day, but just a little reminder about what they should be doing.
Yeah, that's great. So then you had an example, like example on October 29th, to be counted as a toy in the sensory table, the item must be able to scoop, dig, and pour. So those are your little tidbits, right?
Yeah, just a sweet and simple little tidbit each day.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And I saw that you said it'd be really great if this was already made up.
Is it? I thought you were going to say, and we have it made up for you.
We do. You know what? We actually think it's a really great idea, and we will absolutely work on something like that, but it's not been created yet. However, if there are any coaches out there who have created it, please share, and we will share it out.
I was going to say, hey, Molly, you can go ahead and send us your tidbits. We'll take them.
That's right.
I can send, I know, I'll send you October, and then you guys can send me December. How's that?
Oh, that's a nice trade-off. I like it.
We'll see what we can work on. We'll definitely take October.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. All right, so then the next theme that we got from coaches was the importance of feedback and observation with ERS, having one-on-one meetings with teachers to have reflective feedback, and then having regular, here it says continuous, check-ins to support teachers on progress towards those goals. So really making sure that you have regular check-ins to increase their success and their movement towards, having a stress-free data collection day. And really, I mean, here's another shameless plug. Seems like the Coaching Companion could be a really nice way to do that, because then you could just have conversations back and forth via that platform. Okay, so then next is side-by-side support. And we have Rachel had a suggestion around walking the classroom with the teacher and talking about necessary changes. And Rachel Roach is now unmuted. Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hey, so tell us about your walk in the classroom with teachers.
Okay, so what we do is, and I usually, like with the Eckers, I'll have the book with me so I can pull out examples, but so we just walk through their classroom, stop at an area, and we talk about it, and we'll go through the book, and I try to get the teacher to see, based on the book, on where they can make changes to increase their scores.
That's great. Thank you very much. Oh, was there more, Rachel? Was there more?
Well, I was just going to say, with class, we also do what I call it shadowing, where if a teacher is really struggling with their class scores in certain areas, I'll actually follow the teacher around, and I may just whisper behind them a suggestion that oh, right there, this is where you can put in a question there, or right there. And so it gets the teacher thinking of where you can help the teacher to increase their scores too.
Are teachers pretty responsive to that shadow support?
Yeah. Some, they really appreciate it, because when they're in the heat of the moment, when they're actually teaching, they're so busy doing other things, and especially managing behaviors, that they forget to think about how to increase those class scores. So it helps them to just kind of like a gentle reminder. I don't, and I ask them before I do it. I say, would you like me to shadow you? And I explain. Yeah. So I always ask before.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
All right, and then Molly, you had another recommendation around doing materials check with teachers. Molly, hello.
So Candace and I go into, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Candace and I just go into the classroom with the teachers when the kids aren't there, obviously, and we just go center by center and write down the materials they have. And then we sit down with them and look at the centers that have the appropriate materials and centers that may need extra materials. Great time to look at the books and what books they have and what books they may need to purchase or get from the library. Also a time to look and see at extra supplies they have to rotate.
Great. Thank you very much, Molly. Okay. All right, so then just last of all, multiple coaches let us know how valuable it is to become reliable in ECHRS and in class. And then the other thing that they really let us know is that it's really, the relationship is so foundational. Just like working with families, working with coaches, you really want to develop a strong relationship. So thanks to everyone for your thoughts and ideas and suggestions. It was really great to hear everyone's ideas, and it was super great for me to hear coaches' voices and suggestions on the line today as well. Really appreciate your participation. So I'm just going to share a couple quick updates about resources and resources that are available to you now through the Department of Early Learning. There is a link that that you can just use this link and it will take you straight to that publications page. That's the page where I walked through and I found the different resources. Here, I'm going to go here to Department of Early Learning again. It will take you straight to this documents page. And I'm going to just go through a couple of the pieces that have been added. So just today, we were able to add the coach orientation webinars. These, I know you all have been waiting for these for a long time. Parts 1, 2, and 3 are now here. These are required webinars for you to view these orientations. However, the ECAP overview part 1 and the early achievers overview part 2 could be optional for you if you have a strong understanding of early achievers or ECAP and you know the pre-K specialist that's assigned to work with your program. The coach orientation part 3, the roles and resources, this is required for everyone. And then on Friday, we're hoping to have part 4 of 4, which will be your introduction to WELS and give you information about putting information into the WELS system. You can see the coach webinar from last month is posted right here. So if you didn't have a chance to view or to attend that coach webinar, you can view it online here. And then Sue's already told you about these ERS video. We have the Insight to Class video that Soleil recorded last week. It's very useful. Really would suggest viewing both of these videos. So I think that's all of those. I'll say, here's my last shameless plug. If you have not taken the survey, please take the survey. We'll start asking you in person via email to respond to the survey. We really need to hear from all coaches so that we know what your training needs are, what you've already been trained in, and ideas that you have to share. So unfortunately, we've run out of time to answer any of the additional questions. We'll be sure to research the questions we didn't have a chance to get to answer today and get them out to all of you, hopefully before our next webinar in December. So if you have coaching questions, you can contact myself, Sue, Rose, or Kelly. We're the coach leads on the team, but you can always also contact the pre-K specialist that works with your program. So take care, everyone. Have a great month, and we'll talk to you in December.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.